Today we're going to be discussing an article from CBR.com regarding the Indiana Jones franchise and one miserable journalist's take on what is wrong with the franchise. Well, I can tell you what's wrong with her view of it is the way she's looking at it and not taking context fully into form her opinion. But of course, this is somebody who works for CBR or writes for CBR, so I don't know what I expect. But let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Monkeys, roll the footage.
Yeah, that works.
I like
all right,
that a lot.
okay. All right, moving on.
Hey, what about Tulip?
This article came out a couple days ago from CBR, but I wanted to talk about it because it falls in line with the homogenization of our entertainment in our pre-existing franchises, and there's nothing that can replace good old physical media. So with that being said, this article talks about the harsh realities of rewatching the Indiana Jones franchise, which I've done recently, except for the fourth one, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I saw it once, like on DVD after it came out, and I'll probably never watch it again because I thought it was ridiculous and it was stupid. That notwithstanding, I'm not going to sit here and bash that movie. That's been done to death. What I do want to talk about is this list and the points that this writer makes and how it's, you know, quote unquote, some of the things, items are problematic and the usual buzzword garbage that you would pick up in an article from someplace like CBR.com. But we're going to talk about it anyway. Here we are, over here, 10 harsh realities of rewatching the Indiana Jones films. So we'll go through this list, and I'll, of course, give you my thoughts. Rewatching the Indiana Jones film has some surprising issues that may haunt nostalgic fans. This by Kirsten Schultz, 3 days ago. Here we go, ladies and gents. We're talking, of course, about Raiders, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, and then that dumpster fire, the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Most movie buffs would consider the Indiana Jones franchise an essential watch for everyone. While the franchise is undeniably brimming with heart-filled adventure and action, the movies aren't perfect. Films have shown their age quite a bit over the years. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas' collaborative passion project came in the form of a leather jacket-wearing archaeologist, anthropologist who knows how to use a whip well. Indiana Jones and his respective films have been well loved by many for decades. It's hard to remember faults in the franchise other than maybe its most recent release, but a rewatch might be needed to notice the aspects that have slightly damaged its legacy. As I go through these first couple paragraphs here, I just want to say that this is going to be shite. You all know that. It's just what varying degree of shite we're going to get from a shite site, and I didn't mean to rhyme that.
Sure, Jan.
Everyone has a favorite Indiana Jones film. But for Steven Spielberg, his least favorite in the franchise he helped create is the Temple of Doom. Most fans will probably agree with his decision, not considering the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I liked the darker tone of it. Even as a kid, I thought it was cool. You know, it is very different than the other two, you know, The Last Crusade and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Very different tonally, but it was good. I just thought it was a good movie and it was enjoyable. The darker tone worked. It still had its light-hearted moments. However, it's a fair opinion considering how much different Temple of Doom feels from the other films in the franchise. The film is much darker in tone than the others. With moments of sacrifice, child slavery, and questionable racial stereotypes, it isn't as fun or light-hearted and feels somewhat disconnected. The whole, oh my god, it's got racial stereotypes. Oh no. Well, I have an explanation for that. You do realize that films are encapsulated in the period of time in which they were made. Inappropriate as some racial stereotypes may be, stereotypes exist for a reason. I see jokes made all the time about stereotypes about white people. So now you're saying because the stereotypes are employed, and this all goes back to the made-up argument of systemic racism and structural power structures, you know, blah, blah, blah. What's funny is that all these people that make these stupid arguments say that the United States is a racist country and that, oh, well, it's just the white people are the majority. If you look around every other country in the world, white people are not the majority. So this whole fallacy that, well, whites hold all the power, blah, blah, is absolutely hilarious, ridiculous, and this leads into the discussion of stereotypes. See, stereotypes used to be comedic fodder to a certain extent. You know, lighthearted, well-intentioned ribs and things of the like. Now it's taboo unless you're making fun of white people.
He's out of line, but he's right.
All right, number 9. The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull almost ruined the entire franchise. Do I really need to read this paragraph for this one? I mean, you've got aliens, a refrigerator that withstood a nuclear blast. I really don't think I need to expand upon this much more than I already have. And honestly, at this point, why are they still making Indiana Jones 5? Harrison Ford is 186 years old. He, like, injured his shoulder doing a fight scene. I'm like, this man is 80 fucking years old. Pop doesn't need to be out there pretending to be a badass and beating up guys that are, you know, old enough to be his great-great-grandson, and them having to sell for an 80-year-old. It's funny and ridiculous and stupid. Number 8. Willie is a damsel in distress. Ah, yes, the poor trope of the damsel in distress. You know, how horrifying it must be for females to watch a movie where a ruggedly handsome man saves a beautiful woman from perilous situations. Oh no. Anyway, so the article says whether Willie's characterization is the fault of poor character development or Spielberg's direction is unclear, but Willie Scott in the Temple of Doom is one of Indy's most frustrating companions. Her involvement in the film is marginalized to have her constant complaining and being the damsel in distress. Willie seemed like a step down in character development compared to the tenacious Marion Ravenwood. Her failure to be of any help begs the question of why they went with the decision to create a stereotypical helpless female partner for Jones.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
And the funniest part about this is the writer alluded to Marion Ravenwood being a, you know, tenacious companion for Jones. She's obviously afraid to say love interest because that would probably give the male power in that situation, and this writer is more than likely, in all likelihood, a feminist of some sort, probably an intersectional one, so giving the man the power is a bad thing. And, you know, any franchise like this where there's a lot of that, like, alpha male type energy is, you know, that's poison in the water hole to these weirdos. She is, of course, offended by the fact that Willie is a helpless damsel in distress, as are many women now who think that, you know, to make a strong female character, they basically have to make them a man. Winning swimming medals notwithstanding, that's not how you write a strong female character. These people understand. They know this. This is all, it's hamsters on a wheel. They're just spinning the wheel right now. The damsel in distress trope, is it offensive? I mean, honestly, it's a product, and again, I said this earlier, these movies are a product of their time. So you have to think when these are made, this was the view, and then I'm not saying it's right. We know women are capable of doing incredible things in life. They are. I'm not being facetious. I'm being real. It's a movie. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a movie. Don't fucking ruin it for everybody else who loves the movie. And I'm not saying some hack writer for CBR with as much talent in her entire body as I use in one sentence, or, you know, maybe 5 minutes worth of, you know, work, it's not going to ruin it for me. They want you to be as miserable as them. Like, I can watch these movies and enjoy them for what they are. They're fun, sometimes dark, adventure movies. There's a, you know, protagonist, you have antagonist, you've got struggles, you've got, you know, the kind of the hero's journey. You know, you have, you know, beautiful women along the way, you have, you know, perilous situations, you have every kind of scenario in these action movies that anybody who likes action movies could want. So you're not watching these movies to see, you know, equality in, you know, screen time. No, the movie's about Indiana Jones. The movie's called Indiana Jones, not Willie, what is her name? Willie, not Willie fucking Scott. I'm a strong woman. It's not. And I mean, Jesus. It shows also that Indy has a varying taste in his bevy of beauties. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Marion was this, you know, tenacious, you know, dark-haired, you know, beauty who was willing to help him in these situations, whereas Willie needs to be helped. There's women like that in real life. Do these people not, does this bitch writer not understand that? I mean, really, I hate to call her a bitch, but I don't know her on a personal level, so I'll just call her a bitch instead of calling her by her name. But seriously, does she not realize that? And I've spent way too much time on this point. So let's move on to the list to number 7. India is almost always the white savior. Let's read through this and I'll give you my thoughts. Unfortunately, for most cinema before the 2010s and somewhat after, Hollywood failed to escape the white savior trope. While Indiana Jones is a complex and awesome character, he seems to always be the white savior in each of the films. Shit. Though Indy's never directly rude to the people native to whatever country he finds himself in, there's an odd dynamic of them being shown as helpless without him.
What a stupid son of a bitch.
From India to Nepal, crowds of citizens are always depicted as needy and incapable of solving their archaeological crises. All right, so again, the movie is Indiana Jones and, Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and The Last Crusade. It's not the people of India solve their own problems, or the people of Nepal retrieve their own artifact. It's called Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones is played by Harrison Ford, and I know this is going to... Should I put a trigger warning on here? All right, here, we've laid it out for you. A trigger warning for those of you who are triggered by the sight of white people. Wait. I hate to break it to you folks, but Indiana Jones is white. Harrison Ford is white. I know, it's scary. It's shocking. It's probably appalling to some of you to see such an evil, dastardly, cis, heteronormative, white man being the protagonist in a story that has a damsel in distress, and he's helping people of color. I know, it's terrifying. But look at some of the people he helped. That village in Temple of Doom, India. Why does it matter that he helped them? Like I said, they're starving to death. Does it look like they have a bunch of people who can just up and go and bust in there and get back what they need, their artifact? No. No, they're like malnourished, emaciated. So you're so the poor white and I understand the complaints about the white savior trope, because it is a trope. It absolutely is. But again, this movie, product of its time. Well, the series, product of its time. To complain about that now and to try to cast aspersions on this, 40 years after the fact is absolutely, it's ridiculous. And this idiot just needed something to write for the day, because she had no other topics or anything apparently. So this was it. I have to complain about Indiana Jones, doing injustice to women in POCs. Oh no. Anyway, there was race facing in Raiders of the Lost Ark. My question is, who fucking cares? Let's read what Stupid had to say on this one, shall we? It's almost hard to believe there'd be race facing in such a culturally prominent film, but even Indiana Jones isn't innocent of including the outdated act. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, one of the Nepalese henchmen was played by a Caucasian British stuntman named Malcolm Weaver. Oh my God, no.
Mother of God.
No, it can't be. Fucking British people. The miscasting isn't the worst part of the situation, as they went as far as to put prosthetic makeup on the actor to make him present as having Asian features. It's a huge misstep for Spielberg, Lucas, and their team to even consider altering Weaver's facial features instead of hiring an Asian stuntman. So we've seen the picture. Now, let me offer my take on this, which is, again, who fucking cares? This actor was probably already on set. They were like, hey, we can't have you on camera looking all British. Let's just do this. And voila. The motherfucker was in one scene. One scene in a movie. One scene in a movie that came out in 1981. Kirsten Schultz is worried about that. Is worried about him race-facing. Oh my God. That's, for those of you keeping score at home, that's 41 years ago. And we're worried about a stuntman in a one-off scene in a great fucking movie, but hey, my God, the whitewashing is terrible. We can't do that. We can't. It's evil. It's evil. Fucking. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is what we're worried about. Okay, 41 years ago, in one scene, a British actor had to portray an Asian person. Oh no. Anyway, number 5. Indy's no different than a Tomb Raider. Oh, here we go. Though Indiana Jones takes place during the 1940s, there were undoubtedly organized archaeological digs that wouldn't damage the site or artifacts at the time. For someone who prides himself on the preservation of ancient artifacts, audiences might question why Indy's constantly leaving a mess of damage in his wake. In addition to causing chaos, albeit usually because he set off a trap, Indy's quote-unquote recovering artifacts to put in a museum. In recent years, when countries have requested to have their stolen history returned, Indy's actions feel somewhat pretentious and disrespectful. Yes, Indiana Jones is an archaeologist. Yes, he is. He absolutely is an archaeologist. But these movies aren't about archaeology totally. These are action-adventure movies. You know, fantasy-adventure kind of movies. Things are going to need to be action-filled, action-packed. There's going to need to be things that are destroyed. I understand what the writer's going at here. Like, wouldn't it have been better to just let the actual, countries of origin have their archaeological societies, organizations, perform these digs and these recoveries of artifacts? Absolutely. But then we wouldn't have a movie. What we have, Indiana Jones teaches archaeological history. Oh, cool. Does he get to go fight Nazis and, recover the Ark of the Covenant? No, he doesn't get to do any of that. We let the blah 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 handle that because it was in blah blah blah's country on their land. Oh, okay. Well, what about the Last Crusade? Did he get to? No, he didn't do that either. They located it. And then they notified the proper authorities, and they went and they performed the dig, and they recovered the artifacts there. Oh, okay. What about Temple of Doom? Did they? No, he didn't do that either. So, do we have a franchise? No, we have nothing.
I think I can sum up the show for you with one word: nothing.
Without the chaos and destruction, all you would have is a movie about a college professor showing students artifacts and talking about them. Number 4, the Temple of Doom feels very xenophobic, these. Oh my God, these. The Temple of Doom's issues don't stop at the plot or tonal shift. The entire film has an aura of major cultural misunderstanding. Indy heads into an Indian village where the children have been stolen by a local cult that performs human sacrifices for Kali. The inclusion of Kali is questionable at best when the writers could have done quick research into actual Hindu beliefs. Then, contrary to the fact that India is mostly vegetarian, the dinner that Indy and his crew are served at the palace is quote-unquote exotic plates of monkey brains right out of the head and eyeball soup. Well, again, it's a fantasy movie, an adventure movie. Can people really jump out of airplanes on a raft and survive a plane crash that way? Sliding all the way down snow-covered mountains into a river and then ending up at your destination ultimately and live? No, they can't. Why do things have to be well, because it's set in a real place, so it should have. No, see, this is the beauty of making movies, especially back then. Again, 1981. Entire article, this entire list is made up of stupidity from a moron. Indy's son is a forgettable character. Yeah, I don't care about Mutt Williams. We can agree on this one. Mutt Williams, portrayed by Shia LaBeouf, is the son of Indy and Marion Ravenwood. While the filmmakers probably had high hopes for the young character to helm the role of Indy in later years, he struggles to hold a candle to his charming father and mother. Number 2, the melting faces are downright silly. What year was the movie made? What kind of effects were, available at the time practically to do this? Don't you dare say, well, we can go in now and we can make that look better and we can add in modern. No, you can't. Don't do that. You could, but don't. It doesn't need to be done. Nothing about this needs to be retouched. That would be like going to the original Hellraiser movie and the attic scene where he's coming back together. That would be akin to going in now and using modern technology and just CGIing the whole thing. No, it looked amazing when it was done. It's still a cool effect now because you look at it through the lens of the time period it was made. So I don't understand these people who are so adamant about, well, no, that's just sheer fucking hubris right there. You think because you don't like the way it is that the whole thing should have to be changed. It wasn't made for just you. It was made for a lot of people who enjoy this particular, genre of movies. So unless you want to see something, if you want a documentary, go watch a Discovery Channel or some shit. You know what I mean? If you want a historically accurate documentary about people going to get artifacts, go watch an actual documentary. This is an adventure movie. The artifacts and things are plot devices, much like every supporting character is. So, and this face melting non-traversy issue that this dummy has is just, it's laughable. Filmmakers achieved the effects by using a wax model being heated to imitate the illusion. The effects may have been groundbreaking at the time, but unfortunately, it's hard not to laugh at what's very obviously a wax figure melting onto the costumes. Well, no shit, idiot. Really?
Shut up, bitch!
This person is she's probably fun at parties. She is probably a blast at parties. Like, isn't this a great party? Yeah, but I didn't like the last 3 songs. And, the food's not quite to the right temperature. It's not accurate. And isn't it a little insensitive to play a song that talks about a woman's anatomy when there's women in the room? Shut the fuck up, bitch. Get the fuck out. Number 1, Ki-Hugh Kwan deserves better. In Ki-Hugh Kwan's recent interview while promoting Everything Everywhere All at Once, he mentioned how Indiana Jones was both a blessing and damaging to his career. His character Short Round was introduced in the Temple of Doom. He struggled to find work outside of Indiana Jones and the Goonies that wouldn't make him the butt of the joke yet again. While his character is one of the better aspects of the film for his comedic relief, the role made Hugh Kwan typecast. Fortunately, Ki-Hugh has found a rebirth of his career with more dignified characters. Oh, born and raised in Orange County, California, Kirsten Schultz moved north just on the outskirts of Los Angeles in 2018. All right, so this right here, we're gonna look. This is the author, the writer of this piece. This is her Instagram bio. Vegan from California. BLM in her fucking bio. I told you we were going to dig a little bit deeper into this. And we're over here on Kirsten's TikTok. And this will tell you all you need to know, right?
I'm so glad to see more people talking about climate change since scientists have been protesting and getting arrested all over the world right now. They've been trying to warn us for years, and nobody wanted to listen because it seemed like it wasn't happening.
Shut up, bitch!
I don't even know where to start with this. I didn't mean for this video to be this long, but you have to dig into these people who write this kind of stuff and try to deconstruct that, because that's what that was. That's an attempt to deconstruct Indiana Jones as a franchise by this person who's worried about my climate change and, worried about my cultural misunderstandings and all this shit. These people are, like I said, BLM in the Instagram bio right there. But I think this article was completely ridiculous, off base on almost every count. I gave you my thoughts. Now it's your turn. Leave yours in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. If you've enjoyed this video, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, just press the red button. It's free. What does it hurt? Just press the red button. Ding the bell for notifications. We got live streams 4 to 5 times a week on Monday, Wednesday, Saturdays. Sometimes a Friday morning show. I'm going to try to do that more often. I'm Tepo Kuin of The Place to Be Reviews. Channel members get thanked at the video properly after I'm done thanking all of yous. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Get your own.
Take that, you bitch!
No! What the hell?
How'd you like that?
Hey, joke's on you. I have hepatitis.
I could do